camera is rolling and we are live. Yes, ma'am. Yep. You can just talk to the camera.
All right, you want me to start talking now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Ivory N. White, but I was born Ivory N. Coker, C-O-K-E-R. That was my mother and father's name. I was born in Hartsville, South Carolina, 1939. That was before World War II. World War II didn't start until 1940. My real mother passed away March the 30th, 1942. And she had 21 children, had died before I did. And out of the 21 was 7 of us that lived. And it was me, my brothers, my sisters. We all moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I was still
Can you tell us all your brothers and sisters' names, your 7 brothers and sisters that
Yes.
lived?
The oldest one was Annie Lou Scoggins, and then it was Shamel Burke, and then it was Leroy Coker, and then it was Alan Coker, and then it was Inez Coker, Thomas Lee Coker, Shamel Coker, let's see who else, and myself. We were the one that survived after my mother had died. They were all older than I am. My youngest brother was 3 years older than I am. My next sister to me was 6 years older than me. She was 12 when Mama died, and all the other ones was 10 or 15 years older than I was. So we all moved to Pittsburgh, and the oldest ones always worked to help each other because I was the baby. So they all had to work for the light, gas, and stuff like that, and to take care of me. My oldest brother was in Germany when the war broke out. My other brother, Alan Coker, was in Japan when the war broke out. And my Woodrow Frazier was my nephew. He was in Germany with Roy when the war broke out. They were all fighting. I was only about 4 or 5 at that time. So I used to write letters to them. And at night I would stand up and salute the flag in my bed. I'll be singing the national anthem of the United States. And I'd write letters and send them to the Army through the Red Cross. And the Red Cross would take our letters and send them to any Army guy, any guy that was in the service. They were allowed to get our letters. And I was about 5 or 6. I would have little tiny boxes of soap and little tiny boxes of washing powders that you could send to them, and candies we could send to them with my name and address on there, and they'd write me back. So in 1947, when I was in the 3rd grade, you see, they came home from the service, and I told all the kids in my school, if you mess with me, I'm going to have my brothers come and whoop your butt. But they thought I was joking, but my brothers were grown up. So they were allowed to come up to the school and visit because people respected the soldiers. They rode the bus free, they got in the bars free, they went to the show free, they got free clothes. They went to, Conley was open then, and they all took all the service guys in and taught them different skills so they could get jobs. In 1947, they had opened up the school for all GIs and stuff. Well, anyway, make a long story short, I was only 7 years old at that time, but I loved my brothers, and they loved me. Well, Papa was still alive. And we would go down to see him for the summer. And that's the only time I've seen him since I was just born. You know, he was still down there with his ex-wife. I mean, not his ex-wife, his present wife. You know, she didn't look nothing like Mama, but that's who he married. And hey, that was our stepmother. And she was nice to all of us. But anyway, make a long story short, we would go down this summer and stay with Papa, and he would talk about different things that he did when Mama was alive. But he didn't talk too much about Mother, because I think it still hurted him to talk about her. So he would always tell me how I looked a lot like her. And that's about all he would say. He couldn't talk too much. I think it still hurt him. Mama had been dead for a while, but it still hurt him.
So what was his
inside.
name? What was his name? And
Burley Lee
what was
Coker.
Mama's name?
His name was Burley Lee Coker. His mother's name was, I'm trying to think of my grandmother's name. I can't think of her name because I was too little. But I remember going to her house. She had a little farm, and she would always have me go out there and feed the chickens. But I was afraid to feed the chickens because they would always be jumping on my toes and stuff and nibbling at my feet, so I wouldn't feed them. And Grandma would laugh. She thought that was so funny. But she had two big hogs. One she gave to Papa, and he called him Piggly Wiggly. And he was big, and I was scared of him. Papa said, don't worry about him. When he gets a little bit older, you're gonna eat him. I said, what do you mean we're going? He said, I'm gonna cut him up, put him out in the farm where he'd be smoked. I said, you gonna smoke the pig? I didn't know what Papa meant by that. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, we're gonna smoke the pig, cut him up, and then you'll have bacon. I said, oh, yeah. That's a long story, but that's what he did.
So did you travel a lot from Pittsburgh back down south?
I did
a lot
that.
Growing up, or?
I did that for about 4 or 5 years until I got about 10. Then we didn't go anymore. And then Papa, he was still working at the mill till he died. He was 80-something, in his 80s or whatever, when he passed away. But he worked until he died. He worked a long time.
So what was it like? What was it like in Pittsburgh growing up? What were some of the obstacles you ran into as you know, back in those times? Racism, things like that.
Pittsburgh had a lot of prejudice, but it wasn't as bad as the South because the people up here marched and fought more than they did down there. The South was dangerous. I remember when we were on the bus, the Greyhound bus, we had to sit in the back of the bus like you seen on TV about that lady, what's her name?
Rosa Parks.
That's what we did. We had to sit in the back of the bus. And they had white and black bathrooms. When we did get off the bus, we had to go to a white restaurant, a bathroom. It could be like one room. That was our restaurant when we got off the bus for black people. They had one room, they had hot dogs, and pop and whatever. And the white people had a big restaurant next door. We had one little ass room. That's it. You had to go relieve yourself, get back on the bus. But that's what we had to do, was sit in the back of the bus. When you went to the show, the black people sat up in the balcony, and the white people sat down in front seats. When they came in, they came right in the front seat. We had to go upstairs, sat in the balcony. That's how it was.
So did you deal with any segregation in the North, like up here, like during school or anything like that? Anyone try to enforce that or anything, or like?
Well, Pittsburgh wasn't too bad. We had some white kids went to school with us too. And A. Wild is still down there on Center Avenue. I went to A. Wild, that was white and black. But we didn't have too much trouble with white people because they didn't. I lived on the hill. The hill was all black. Jewish people lived on the hill. They would sell houses to us, black people. They would sell houses to us. Their stores was on the hill. They would give us credit. We didn't have money. We could go to the gambling man and play numbers and get some money and go and pay them off. But they only sold to black people. So they owned a lot of property on the hill. They had money. They would sell their houses to us, but the houses wasn't as nice as they are now. They was a little run down, but hey, we bought what we could buy. $42 a month was your mortgage for a house. Your light and gas was maybe $13, $14 a month. That ain't nothing now. You go to the store and get a bag of potatoes like that for 10 cents. Bag of oranges, 10 cents. Loaf of bread, 5 cents. Dozen of eggs, a dime. 12 oranges would probably cost about 13 cents, something like that. Everything was cheap, but to us it was a lot. But Pittsburgh was tough on us. When we went to school, when we graduated, we had to go to find out where they hired black people. Because every place didn't hire black people. They would tell you when you're from, well, we're not hiring today. We're not hiring any black people. They'll tell you straight out. That's how prejudiced they was. They didn't hide it. They just said, well, we're not hiring you. You have to go somewhere else. That's what we had to do. When I went to school for drafting, when we finished our drafting course, no white company would hire us. We had to leave Pittsburgh in order to get a job. No black people. Had to be white.
You want to tell us a little about your experience with the drafting and going to school for drafting?
Drafting, I was good in drafting. I made all A's. I was smart. There was only two of us, me and this other black girl. She went to down there where Coleman lived in Georgia. She got a job right away. She left. I would have left, but I still had the kids, so I didn't go. I stayed here. But they told me, you're good in drafting. If you want a job, you have to leave Pittsburgh. So I got 5 kids. I can't leave. They said, well, we don't know what you're going to do. I guess I have to stay here. Never got it. So I went back to school for nursing. And I got a job nursing, in the hospital. I worked at the Children's Hospital. I worked at Presbyterian. I worked at Shady Side. Worked at West Penn. I did private jobs in the old nursing home for old people. Negley, I know all the places I worked at. I didn't have no problem with nursing because they liked nursing, they needed nursing, so that was no problem. I was always working.
So what year was that you went to school for drafting?
In 72.
Were there a lot of women in drafting? Were there a lot of black women in drafting?
Mostly were men. The men did drafting and what is that? Not architect, that other.
Engineering.
Yeah, and they did that drawing thing.
Like blueprinting.
Yeah. They bring their blueprint up to our room. We were doing drafting. We was doing like putting stuff together like the J&L steel mill, which is not there anymore. We put that together with the inside, like the equipment, how the machine works, and how we had to find out how the machine worked and how much gas we had to put in the machine to make it work. All that stuff, we had to draw that out, how it worked, and what material we used to put in the machine to make it work. That was our job.
So did they ever give you all credit for the work that you've done?
Yeah. We had our drafting papers. We had our certificates. We
So,
had everything.
Backing up, how did you meet Granddad? How did that whole, you met him, y'all were having these
Well, I
kids?
went to a birthday party.
Say it again?
I went to my sweetie. I went to a birthday.
They can ride with me if they want. If you want to, they can ride with me if they want to. If they're not ready to go, they can ride with me if they want. It don't matter. So if any of y'all want to stay around, you can. I gotta drive the other car, baby.
We're going to the same place after.
Yeah, but I'm driving the other car. Yeah.
We're going to the same place.
Yes. All right. Go ahead. If y'all ride with mommy, go ahead.
I'm gonna be with you.
You're in front of the camera. We're interviewing Grandma. She's talking. She's telling us her life story. She's just now at the point where she's about to tell us how she met Granddad. But before meeting Granddad, I want to know. So were you guys young when you met? Did you meet as teenagers?
We were 17 and 16.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the teenage years. What was that like? What were your teenage years like? What was school
Dad was
like?
doing the service.
About.
I was out here.
Mommy,
And we,
He was in the service at 17?
yeah, you could go when you were 16. They took you.
great. Now I have to.
He was in 16, 17, 18. I think Dad had been in service 3 years when I met him. And I went to a birthday party and he was there and I met him. We started talking, teenagers get together.
Whose birthday party was it?
I don't know, it was a friend of ours from school.
Go with mommy about.
And
So did y'all go to the same school?
yeah, we went to Fifth Avenue High School.
Okay.
But I used to see him in school, but I didn't know who he was because we didn't talk that much. And anyway, I found out who he was. And he wrote me a letter. He said, I'll be coming out soon. Would you wait for me? He said, I want to get married. I said, no.
So that was random? Like, y'all weren't dating or anything? He just wrote you the letter before he went in?
I met him before. He was still in, but I met him when he came home on leave.
Ah, okay.
We started seeing each other then, but he was still in the service.
Okay.
And when he met me, he decided, of course, he was getting out. And we was going to get married. And I said, I don't know if I'm ready to get married because we weren't old enough. In Pennsylvania, you had to be 21 to get married. And if your parents didn't sign for you, you couldn't get married at all. You had to be 21 through the court. If the parents signed for you, they'll marry you. Me and him, Big Ma had to sign for me, and Mildred had to sign for him. But the judge still didn't want us to get married because we were too young. He said, I don't believe in young marriages. He said, y'all two are still too young. You know what you're doing. He said, but I'm going to marry you. If your mind is made up to get married, I'm going to do it. If your parents don't care. If they care for you to get married, I'll do it. So we got married. We had a lot of fun. We were still young yet. I stayed.
So what did that look like? What did the dating world look like at that time? Like what were the fun things to do back then?
Well, I stayed with him down in Camp Lejeune. I stayed down there with him. And we lived in this little trailer house. And we made friends with the other service guys that was in there because they was getting ready to go to Lebanon. They were getting ready to ship them out. But since he got married, they let him stay a little longer. But they said when they come back, they was going to get him anyhow because I was down there with him. So he told me, he said, well, they're going to come ship me out anyhow, but you stay down here. When I come back, I'm going to have to go to Pittsburgh. I'll just come back to the base, and you'll be here. I said, yeah. I didn't know nothing about service. And that's how they did it. So he went to Lebanon. He had a picture painted of me. I think you've seen it. My hair was short. My had on a blue dress or jacket or something. And he was about this big. I still got it.
The one where you got the profile where you're turned sideways?
No, the one that my hair was short. And I had on earrings. I had on some flowered earrings.
He got that painted for you in Lebanon? Cool. Nice. Oh, Granddad was a little slick,
And
man.
he sent me a record. He said, what was the song? You're 1,000 miles away. I still have your love to remember me by. La, la, la. Close your eyes, darling, don't say goodbye. I'm lost 1,000 miles away. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So he made that record for me. He
sang that?
Yeah.
That was Granddad's song?
Yeah, 1,000 miles away.
What?
Yeah.
That was Granddad's song?
Yes. He sang it to me on the record and sent it to me.
Do you still have the record?
Oh, how long ago that's been?
Did it burn up with the fire?
No, I kept it a long time. I think when I was moving, I think it got broke or I lost it or something. But it was one of those 45s.
Yeah.
And he made that.
Did he have music in the background or was it just him singing?
Yeah, he was singing the music in the background. He sent the picture. The picture was about this big.
So what you just sang, was that the whole song or is there more words to it?
If I can remember it, they still sing it on the radio, but I can't remember all the words. It's called You're 1,000 Miles Away.
Huh.
You're 1,000 miles. You probably heard it before.
Okay.
So anyway, he sent that and sent the picture that he had painted of me because I sent it to us in black and white. But when he sent it back, it was colored, and it was this big. I sent him a little photograph. He told me when he was in Lebanon, when they send them there, they do pictures like that for Army guys. And he had it, made bigger. And he sent that back to me in a tape, and I was falling all out.
So how was life back here while waiting and being at home while he was over there?
I was with Big Ma. And my sister was there. She hadn't got married yet. She was getting ready to get married. And I showed her the picture and the tape that Chucky had sent back. And they was, oh, that's so romantic. I was scared. I said, I don't know what we'll do when they get married. I'm scared. She said, don't be scared. That's good. We're going to marry you. I'm scared. I've never been married before. They said, of course we know that. Ain't nothing to be scared about. So he came home, and Reverend Cox, he married us. We got married at the preacher's house. Grandma was there. Great-grandma Burley was there. All his cousins was there. Grandma Burley's brothers was there, and her brother-in-laws. Her sister-in-laws was there, and the cousins. Everybody was there at the house. So we got married at Reverend Cox's house, and we had the reception over at Grandma Burley's house because her house was bigger. We went there and had the reception at her house up in Belle Susan. We had the reception up there, and we lived good. I was happy with him. We went out, party, like young kids do. We'd go up, me and him would party together and go dance. He liked to dance. We'd go to dances together on the weekend. And to the picnic at Westview Park, when Westview was out there for black people, we went out there. And to the park, because Kennywood was so prejudiced. No black people go there. We went to Westview. That was for the black people's picnic time. That was our park, Westview Park. Out there on McKnight Road, all that area was out there was the park. All those schools, the stores when you go up McKnight Road, Westview Avenue, all that was the picnic ground. We had the Spears Wheel. Everything you could name, we had at our park. where we, you know, went there to dance, and all the guys that sang on TV would come out there and do concerts for us. They have a big hall where we go to the concerts at Westview Park for black people. We didn't have to worry about Kennywood that much. I mean, Kennywood was just for the white people. They didn't want us out there, and we didn't have to worry about it, because Westview was for all black people. That's where we went.
So what was life like raising all these kids? All these babies?
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was fun to us. It was fun. It was. I mean, the babies wasn't no problem. They wasn't. I mean, when Chucky and Gregory and Mel and Tina and Kathy and Vicky and all them, when they was all little, it was easy. I mean, when it was time for them to go to bed, I had 3 big, 3 little. That was no problem.
He said he was home alone.
Who?
He said
What line? He wasn't home.
he said
There was times I wanted to leave him by himself alone. He was so bad. Gregory was a trip. No, Gregory was no problem. He wasn't no problem.
that's what I heard.
He got into stuff babies get into. Little kids, 3 and 4 years old, get into stuff. He didn't do no more than what babies do today. He wasn't bad. He just was mischievous getting into stuff. But somebody was always trying to beat Gregory up, though. That's what I didn't like. When he went to school, 3 and 4 boys wanted to beat him up. He never came home with one guy wanting to beat him up. He had 3 and 4. When he used to be the workout at East Park with the East Hills, the park where his phone pool's out there. Yeah, the guys would jump up and try to beat him up, 2 and 3 guys. Chucky had to go up there and help him fight. I keep telling you, nobody tried to beat Gregory by himself.
Ain't nobody gonna try to beat you up for no reason. There got to be a reason for
I mean, they would.
No, you didn't have to have no reason if you didn't like nobody. That's reason enough. When we moved to Homewood, they was trying to beat Gregory up all the time. They never messed with Chucky because they thought Chucky was crazy. But he wasn't. He just didn't take those shit, that's all. That one time, Greg went, when we lived in, she let me talk.
Hey, yo. She said, everybody always tried to fight Daddy. They ain't never want to fight Uncle Chucky because everybody thought he was crazy.
He wasn't crazy. He didn't bother nobody. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He didn't bother nobody. He didn't play with the guys. The Greg was always out there playing and running his mouth. That's why he's not kidding. So there's one time these 4 guys, big guys, he was about 17. You don't just jump on my boy and hit him upside his head and beat him up for nothing. So they ran to the house and told Chucky. Say, man, somebody down there trying to beat your brother up. Greg said, I'm coming. You tell him I'm coming. We just see how long they gonna stand out there on the corner and fight him. When they heard Chucky was coming, they all left. Yeah. And Gregory was bleeding and all that. Chucky went down with them things that they use, them things that you fight with and they're made out of wood.
Nunchucks?
Yeah, he had them. He learned how to use them.
He went out there with nunchucks. Uncle Chucky showed up with some nunchucks.
Boy, what you doing?
She said Uncle Chucky showed up to help Daddy fight with some nunchucks.
They all left too.
Said that man showed up with some wooden nunchucks. Why you crying?
You me.
Her.
Laughing.
Why you crying?
He went down there,
Why
Gary.
you over there crying?
She's crying. Go tell Dad.
Gary.
Hold on, I'm on a microphone.
He went down there and we were living on Upland Street.
Mommy was asking what he is choosing who with mommy or him. I chose him. I wanted to ride with him, and I know he don't mind as he wanted to sit in the front seat. And he also was saying that like he thought I was gonna ride with mommy, but I wanted to go with you. And then
Because you wanted to ride in the front seat.
no, I wanted to ride with you.
Okay, you're right with me.
And mommy said that he just wanted to show some love. And like when I chose,
So why can't Navi ride with me too?
and when I just ride with you, he got mad because like he thought like I wasn't showing love to mommy.
Nah, mommy got Isla and they just went home and he cool. Tell him to go play in traffic. All right, grandma's talking.
He went down there. We were living on Upland Street. And he went down there he went through the alleyway. He said, well, I'll be right back. He went down the alleyway. I said, where you going? He said, I'm going to the store. I said, why you dressed in black? He said, don't worry, I'll be right back.
Who's that, Uncle Chucky?
He just had this black shirt on, pants. He had them lynching things with him. He went out that back door. I'm at the house scared. I don't know what was going on. The kid said, Mom, where Chucky go? I said, he said he was going to the store. They said, no, there was some boys down there beating Gregory up. And then I didn't hear no noise no more when he left. Before he left, I heard all the it's hollering and all that. Then when he left down there, everything got quiet.
How old were they?
I said, I wonder what happened. It's always quiet.
How old were they around this time?
Chucky was about 17. He might not even been 17. He could have been 16 or going on 17 because they're only 1 year apart. Anyway, he went down at the corner of Upland and Homewood Avenue. What was that, Homewood Avenue? No, Upland and Lang. That's where he went. And I didn't hear no more noise. And then after that, I heard somebody banging on the back door. Boom, 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 boom. That's Chucky. He had Gregory with him. I said, Gregory, you all right? He said, yeah, Mom. Chucky came down there and he started fighting and the boys left. So they saw Chucky.
He came in with all black with nunchucks. Bruce Leroy showed up.
Well, I don't know what the hell he did. It was 4 guys. They all left. They left. I'm all scared. He said, ain't nobody gonna be messing with my brother. I got anything to do with it. Mom, you stay out of it. You don't say nothing. You stay up here at the house. I said, I wasn't getting ready to come down and get into it. He said, I told you I was gonna have it covered. I said, Chucky, what you do? He said, don't worry what I'm gonna do. They ain't gonna bother neither one of us no more as long as we live on this street. He brought the nunchucks back and put them on the kitchen table. They sat down and looked at television. Gregory had been crying. I don't know how bad they beat him up, but he was crying. And Gregory was big. He wasn't no little guy. He was big. But these 4 boys jumped on him. Gregory said,
So how'd the house burn down?
Which house?
How many houses burned down?
Which house? You know? Which house?
How'd the house burn down?
Run to St. Clair.
In St. Clair.
Yeah, Mom.
That house didn't burn down.
Yes, it did.
I wasn't in it.
Yes, you was.
In St. Clair Village.
I ain't talking about it's the house or England. I mean, was that England? What's the street before you get to the church?
What church are you talking about?
My church.
A black house?
No, that I wasn't in that house when that house. No, it wasn't not.
You know exactly what we're talking. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean when the kitchen caught on fire?
Was it the kitchen or the bedroom?
It was the kitchen, and it didn't burn down.
The house burnt down.
So was it so was
No,
it just like a
was not.
fire on like
I
half
was
the
in
house?
that, huh?
It was like half the house caught fire?
No, what happened was I was cooking, and the oven caught fire. You know, you cook stuff in there, and I had some, what did I have in there? Some biscuits or something that stayed in there too long, and they start smoking because they got burnt. That's when the police came to the house to take the fire out.
That house burned down.
It couldn't have. I was still living in it.
I just got grandma telling the life story. And I asked about the house that burned down.
Yeah.
I was still in it. It didn't burn down. That's
Or
what
just
I'm-
burn. It was fire somewhere. It was a
It
fire.
was in the kitchen. The house did not burn down. No, in there when the biscuits got hot, they started burning and they was black. And when they got black, the smoke, you know.
So the
smoke
fire didn't
came
go
out.
anywhere else in the house?
No, that's the only place it went.
My dad said his stuff burned up in the fire. He says he lost all his trophies and stuff in the fire.
Oh, he's talking about when we lived on Perrysville Avenue.
No.
The
Perrysville?
house caught on fire.
I'm talking about the one right there that St. Clair building. He's behind the church.
She said there was a fire at the house. Which one was the one where he said he lost all his trophies and everything?
When we lived on Perrysville Avenue, when we had our own house on Perrysville Avenue, that caught on fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that burnt down.
It burned down?
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Was anybody in the house? Was anybody
No, we
home?
were all outside when it caught on fire.
How'd it burn down?
I don't know.
What? These
I
houses
know we
just be
didn't-
burning up.
We didn't
to
have
catch-
any lights, but I have been burning some candles for light, and I think that's what happened.
Ah,
That's the only place. The kids did have their stuff in there, and I had my stuff in there too. And the house caught on fire and it burnt.
did y'all
All
ever
of our
rebuild?
stuff-
Did you ever rebuild or anything?
No, the house
Like, did
is
you
still
own that
down.
place?
Yeah, the house is still down there. Whoever bought it made 3 or 4 apartments in there. It's right down there on Perrysville Avenue,
Yeah.
1914 Perrysville Avenue.
So when it burned down, you sold it?
We didn't own it then when it burnt
Okay.
down,
Okay.
but they built it into apartment buildings.
Okay.
You know, it had apartments and stuff in it. But that part, that's when Gregory Lou was a big wall there where Gregory fell off that wall when he was little. It was a wall that came up the steps, that was by the steps. And he would come down from the house and walk on the wall. The wall is by the concrete. And he fell off of there when he was about 3.
Ooh.
Gregory,
Ouch.
he fell and hit his head when he fell. It was about as tall as there. The wall was about as tall as this ceiling. And he fell off
wow.
of it onto the banister. And from the banister, he fell down to the sidewalk.
Oh, wow.
He was up there, and when he fell and hit the banister where the steps was coming up to the house. And from there, he rolled off of there and fell onto the sidewalk. The lady across the street saw him when he fell because I was in the house. We called 911, took him to the hospital. They said there was nothing wrong with his head. They said,
Little rockhead. Little boulder head. I'm gonna come and record some more. I ain't gonna have to keep talking all night. I see my mom got her coat on. She keep trying to push you out the door.
yeah, because she want me to. I got to go to her house and get my stuff so
Okay.
Chucky can come get me. Then he went down there and was fighting for Greg.
Yeah.
Beat them boys up, 4 of them. They never.
Yeah, I want to know a lot. About like you and Granddad's story. You know, you and Granddad's story, y'all relationship.
our ours isn't that long. We only stayed together 25 years. But we had all the children by then when we broke up. But when we broke up, the kids was all grown up. Yeah. But we were kids when we got married. We didn't know no damn thing. We didn't. We didn't know nothing. We didn't. We were just like the judge said. We were young and we got married. But at that time, everybody got married when we got married. Everybody we went to school got married. All that summer, everybody was getting married. Yeah.
The bug was in the air.
Some of them are still together. Some of my friends are still married to their husbands. I see them sometimes and they're, where's Chucky at? I said, he passed. What? Y'all stayed together a long time. 25 years. Your dad and my oldest brother was best friends because Al was in the Marines too. He was a Marine. And him and your dad, they was best friends because they both was Marines. And one Marine don't forget the other one. Yeah, we loved each other. We was just too stupid to know it. I think if we had been a little bit wiser, we probably still would have been together even today. Yeah. Because he was a good man. He didn't bother nobody. And didn't nobody mess with him either. I'm not saying your dad was crazy. Grandpa was crazy, but he just never messed with nobody. Nobody never messed with him because he was always serious. You know, he didn't play with nobody. He wasn't a guy that played. You know, he didn't play. You either liked him or you didn't. That's just the type of man he was. My niece told me something that I didn't know. She got the what do you call that thing about your ancestors? They said that my ancestors, that we were slaves. That my father his father was a slave to the Cokers. And that's how we got the name Coker. That owned us. I said, what? My grandfather was a slave.
I don't think she went outside yet. Did she? She didn't go outside yet, did she?
No, she's back there somewhere.
Mom, you about to get left by Grandma. You over there wired?
It's like a hurricane.
Hey, yo.
I went to New Orleans. I had a hurricane. One slushy. I think it was done.
Was done. Hey, yo.
Bird was like, go get my wife another hurricane.
Get my wife another.
They're like, babe, babe. He was like, put Ron on the phone. Another hurricane.